All right then. So we are defo go then, yeah.
We're going.
Class 3. So cool. We are going. So I'm really winging this one because we've had to change it around. It was going to be Wendy, but she's expedition manager for a new expedition that Lou Rudd's doing. So she's on Antarctica stuff at the moment. So we've got Conor in.
The most unqualified person who's been on here so far.
This is what I love about it, because it's Conor from CNSports and owner of the unit gym. So
part owner,
yeah, and owner.
And owner, yeah.
And we were going to get him on anyway. We just brought it forward a bit. So yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Podcast number 3. So cool.
One.
So I have done no research about you at all. It's a lot easier with the boss because I knew him. I've been in a tent with him for a couple of months, and then with Paul because there's an exhibition. I literally know nothing about you.
Yeah, other than my name.
I know that your name is Conor Neilly.
That's it.
And you are the part owner of the unit.
Yeah, one of 3. Yeah.
And do you own the Butter Market?
The shop.
Shop?
So I own the shop.
Is that yours, is it?
So CN is my initials, and
what
then
does
sport.
That stand for?
Someone did think it was County Nutrition Sport, but no, it's my initials and then sport. Yeah.
I said to Cookie today with my dyslexia, I remember you as CNN. She's like, "What the news?" And I just, for some reason, I just keep saying CNN Sports.
Yeah.
Tonight, I was sure I was going to say, so Conor owns CNN Sports.
Yeah. Quite a lot of people do that though.
Really?
CNN, yeah. Or CNS Sports. They'll say,
cool.
yeah.
Now I know that. I said to George today, it's Conor Neilly, isn't it? And he's like, that
is
sense
right.
Now why he's called it that.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that, man?
So the shop, even when I was a kid, right, when we lived in Scotland, I must have been like 5 years old, not even that. I remember I always used to have this garage on the side of the house, and then in front of the garage was like a gated off section, and I'd get all of this stuff that like old plates and nails and all sorts, like old bits of jewellery, and I'd try and sell them. And my mum would help me. She'd be like, right, we'll go out and we'll put it. And no one walked past there. We lived in a rough part of Airdrie. That's where we lived in Scotland. And
so you're basically trying to sell crap on the streets.
I would just try to sell. Yeah, but the funny thing about it is what would happen is when I didn't sell any of it, I would go and post it through the neighbours' letterboxes. So like the guy next door, I'm sure his name was Fred. Yeah, but I just put like nails through his letterbox, which he didn't actually really like, believe it or not. So I always like to sell things. And then I had a few jobs and stuff like that. I worked in a factory doing PCB boards. I worked in
PCB?
Like little computer chips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So we used to make
mini motherboards or
in Madley we used to make it's radio frequency equipment.
Oh, okay, cool.
I didn't work there for very long, and then I worked in a body shop, like helping prep cars, and then because of like my mental health and stuff like that, and how I am as a person, I sort of realised that I always would have to work for myself.
Yeah.
And then I think some people can and some people can't. I was building a old Escort RS Turbo Series 2. An old Escort RS Turbo Series 2.
So what?
Escort.
Yeah,
Ford Escort.
Not Cosworth.
No.
Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Much. It was like 89.
Oh, okay.
89,
okay.
Yeah, an 89 model. And
I love Escorts.
anyway, basically all funded by my dad. And we had all these parts and stuff. And in the end, I remember sitting there and I was putting some filler in one of the wheel arches, and I was like, do you know what? This just isn't ever going to be as good as I want it to be. Yeah. And then we sold all of the parts, and I was left with I think I had about $5,000. And then I was into the gym, I was into training, and then I used to go onto this website, and I remember the first thing I ever bought was like a bunch of headphones, and I'd try and sell these headphones. Right?
Like me, man.
It's weirdest thing, right?
I'm still like that.
And then I remember seeing someone posting about supplements on there, and then I thought, there's no supplement shops. And then that's how I got into it. I had a little bit of money. I contacted a bunch of suppliers. I started from home.
How old were you?
That was 2013. So what was that? Nearly 10 years ago. So yeah, about 19.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
So about 18, 19. And then, we started the shop. And I remember, like, I had no idea if it was going to work. I remember saying to my mum, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay the rent on the shop. Like, and she was like, yeah, no worries, we'll, like, help you out. And then, start making money straight away. So
quality. It's very similar to me with the tattoo shop.
Yeah, I think like even with the gym, right? People like, oh, do you have enough money to start? We didn't have any money.
Yeah,
we just like said, yeah, we're going to open a gym, and then just bought stuff.
I reckon when people, that's how I never started a business in my life, schizophrenic. Just literally, I was cooking chips all day long. And people would come in and say, tattoo shop, tattoo. Is there a tattoo shop? I never had a clue. It's the first business. I just lucked out that it took off the way it did. Yeah,
so I feel the sort of same. Like, I think it was definitely right time, right place, because I didn't really know anything about supplements. I knew I loved training, and I was big lad. I was overweight, and I knew I loved training, and I knew I liked to sell things and you know, interact with people. But I didn't ever think, like, you know, that it was going to be a what it is now. Same. I never dreamed.
And it's really 20 years even.
But I think definitely there was a definite right time, right place. Like, supplements were nowhere near as popular then as they are now. It's a massive business now. And then that was how. So I initially started selling them before we had the little shop. I initially started selling them in just in the garage at home. And people would message me and they'd pop round and I'd go through this and this and this, and then you know, and it was a big learning curve for me, but it meant I could work for myself. Which again, that's a big thing for me. So
what I understood from you straight away, I used to come into your shop because George would say go there. But you know your stuff. And
that's so that's all self-taught. So I never finished school. I didn't get any GCSEs. Nothing like that. Everything that I know.
This is why we're successful, because we school of hard knocks, work hard.
So I always think, like, I say to everyone, I say, see if you've got a genuine reason to do something, and as long as you put 100% in every day, it'll be fine. That's all you got to think, isn't it? You go to work, you put 100% in every day, and then you'll be all right.
All I've ever wanted was enough money to be able to go to Tesco's, wherever, fill up the trolley and not worry about have I got enough money. That's always been my life ambition. Just to be able to eat whatever I want when I want.
So I find with me that I'm not money motivated, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. So I tend to find when it comes to business, it's not a great thing. So I'm the first person, you know, I always give a little bit too extra discount or put too much free stuff in, or, you know, all right, I'll sponsor your event, or I'll give you, you know. So in terms of making money, I'm not actually the best person at that. But I think, and the same thing is, like, I would never sell anything to anyone that I didn't think benefited them. Or if someone come in and I thought, they don't really know what they're talking about, or they don't really understand that, you know, this product isn't going to do what they think it's going to do, I would always be the one to send them away with nothing. So I'm lucky, really. Like I say, it's a good thing to not be money motivated, but then in terms of business, it can be a bad thing. But
I'm so much like you. I'll literally, I mean, you know, it annoys George, and he's the ruthless one. You need your partner, or you know, you've got to have a good cop, bad cop.
So Alice is like that. She's the one who's like, why have you spent that much money on that? Like, did you need to spend that much money on that? You know, why have you given that person, you know, which is good to have. It's frustrating for me because sometimes I'm like, I'm just trying to be nice, but then you're like, actually, no, we are running a business here. So that's where the gym comes in, though. The gym's good for that.
Your gym's ace. I love it. Yeah, that's quality. You're very similar. I didn't realise how similar we were. I'm exactly the same. You know, I've let people walk away with tattoos that they haven't paid for.
So
just leave it, George.
I think it's difficult sometimes finding the line between being sort of, you know, taken advantage of, and then, you know, just being nice.
Most people out there to me are cutthroat anyway, so it's just you're you know, it's good karma anyway. It's good to be generous.
It all comes back to you.
And I just let George deal with the cutthroat stuff. No one gets a deal. Okay, let's move on to the weightlifting, the powerlifting side of things. So you're a professional powerlifter.
I wouldn't say I was professional. Well, I'm definitely not professional because I don't make any money from it. But I'm a competitive powerlifter. So I compete in powerlifting. My first competition, that medal that I bought is my first competition ever done, and that was 2017. So I'll just say before, so that if any powerlifters watch this, they're going to be like, that medal means nothing. And in powerlifting at the moment, it's one of them things where everyone gets a medal. So you have 30 or 40 people turn up on the day, but by the time that's split into weight categories, genders, you know, steroid users, non-steroid users, ages, you know, you've got juniors, opens, masters 1, 2, 3, 4. Once that's split up, it's sort of everyone gets a medal. So I do competitive powerlifting because I love it. You know, some of my best mates I've met through powerlifting. And you know, for me, it's an incredible sport. And it's weird because, and I think it's that way because you're not actually competing against anyone but yourself, really. So it's not like in a race where you're racing other people. Everyone goes on with their own thing, and really the competitive side to it is coming when you're sort of looking at the leaderboards outside of competition.
Yeah.
You know, my first competition that I went to, 2017, was in the arse end of Manchester, in a very like a tiny little powerlifting gym called Silla, and I remember went on my own. It's the first ever powerlifting competition I went to, and I went there, and literally I'm like in Manchester, big city, never really been to big cities, and I'm like. And I get to this little tiny gym in the middle of nowhere in Manchester, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking. There's all these massive guys. And there's a guy there. His name's Alan Wilson, and he comes up to me. And he just taps me on the shoulder. Never met this guy in my life. And he goes, "Are you Conor?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Yeah, we're competing with each other today." He said, "I've seen you on Facebook." And I was like, "He's like, I know this is your first competition. If you need anything, just let me know."
That's cool.
And I'm like then thinking, and honestly, everyone's like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing weirder than like, and more satisfying than going and having 50 people screaming your name who have never met you before.
Yeah.
And they're all genuinely wanting you to be good. Yeah. And then that's over. That you do that, you're like, come on, whoever, and you're like thinking, I don't even know this person, but I just really want them to succeed. Yeah. And then that was my first experience with powerlifting competitively, and no one else around here was really doing it. And I've loved it ever since. I could go to a powerlifting competition and just help out, and I would probably have more fun, and I'd you know get more enjoyment than competing, just because the atmosphere's great, the crowd's great, everyone's so lovely, and you're in a room with people that you are interested in the same things. So I've been doing competitive powerlifting since 2017, and I love it. I compete in the under 100 kilo class. I think my best total.
Is that what you lift?
yeah, not far off actually. Yeah, so I think my best total.
I think we're in the same class.
Yeah. So there's obviously weight categories. So you have in the BPU, British Powerlifting Union, is who I compete with. That's the federation. They're part of the World Powerlifting Congress, which is on that badge there. And I compete in the 100 kilo category, and my best total in competition is like 715 kilos split between the free lifts. And then my best gym lifts is much higher than that. I've never been able to replicate a lot of them in competition. So that's just one of them things. Lifting in the gym is easy. Lifting in the competition that's a hard day.
Is that different, is it?
Completely different, yeah. So the reason being is, the way that powerlifting works is you have... you do 3 lifts. You do squat, always squat first, then bench, then deadlift. And it's split out through an entire day. So you would have squat at 10 o'clock.
So the squat's just shoulders, drop down?
Yeah, so squat's where you squat down to the floor, or, squat down. And then, that would be at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And then all the people there, they would all squat in the weight categories, and there'd be little breaks. Well, then you wouldn't bench press until 1 o'clock. And then you wouldn't deadlift until 4 o'clock. So this is a whole day of, you imagine you've got to get yourself mentally ready, and you get 3 lifts. So you get your first lift, your second lift, your third lift. And, if you're in a group of 10, it starts lowest lift first. So you all put your entries in, and it starts lowest lift first. And then all 10 go, and then you go again. And then all 10 go, and then you go again. So mentally, it's not only, trying to lift as much as you can, it's figuring out what I've got to eat that day. How am I going to, am I going to take energy, pre-workout powders before this lift or before this lift, and then obviously when drugs come into it, am I going to be taking halo testing, should I take it before this lift, but then is that going to fatigue me for the end one? And you take, what other orals are you taking? People take injectable pre-workout style anabolic steroids, stuff like that. So when you get really into that side of it, it's just a completely different thing as to going in your own gym with your own weights in your own atmosphere with people on your own equipment, and maxing out one lift. That's an easy day. But going in, staying in a hotel, weighing in competition, it's like any competitive sport. It's different on the day, and it's a hard day.
I never really thought about it. I mean, I see you in the gym, and fuck me, the bar is bent.
Yeah. I think definitely, I'm mediocre at best. And people say to me, they're like, "Oh no, but you're really strong." But what I mean is in the grand scheme of powerlifting, to the average person, of course, yeah. But in powerlifting, I'm in the middle. Do you know what I mean? I'm not an amazing lifter. I'm not a terrible lifter. And for me, I don't compete to win anything. I just try and beat what I did before. It's more of the experience of it.
That's what I'm doing now. So I was banter earlier about the Joe Rogan thing, and it's I have I want this to be successful just in Hereford. If it's just successful enough in Hereford, I'm happy with that. I don't have any desire of grandeur. I think I'm ever going to be Joe Rogan, even though I bounce off him. And you must have the same.
With 100%.
People that you look up to and follow their style.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing when people go like. We do a lot on social media and stuff, and some of my lifting goes on there, and people are like, "Whoa, you're so that's amazing!" Like I'll still go, and it's the same as if this is massive in Hereford, and you're getting then that's an achievement in itself, isn't it? You just as long as you love it, and if I didn't love powerlifting, I wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? I just do it, and I love to train, and I also love to not train. Yeah. So it's not a job for me; it's just a hobby. Yeah. I like my time in the gym, and I like my time. Work's a bit different. I always at work. I'm always working. I love working. That's just what I do.
I'm surprised if I ever come to the Butter Market and you're not.
And I'm not there. Yeah, I mean, it is.
It's always one of three faces. So it's normally always you.
It's normally always me. Yeah, and that's a lot to do with how my mind works, and I have to have routine. And I like to keep my mind busy. I don't like too much.
Of the company, though, aren't you?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. Funnily enough, it's actually not, but people think it is. Yeah. When it's like if it's your baby, which probably isn't ideal for a business to be that. You're the one who wants to be overseeing everything. And actually, now that I've got Alice there and Donna there, it takes so much stress off of me because I know that they'll think how I think. Because they'll think, right, I've got to perform this task, and how would I want it done? Which is, and I have, I'd like even the tubs of protein. I like them to be chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, banana. Do you know what I mean? Like silly things like that.
I'm exactly
it's just it's just how it is.
You go upstairs now and see my wardrobe. My shirts are in thickness.
Yeah.
Whether they're long sleeves, or all, I guarantee
you need
they're
to
all
get
colour coded.
Have you got one of these t-shirt folders?
I just hang. They've got to be on wooden hangers. All the hooks have to be that way, and they're all colour coded.
I got one of these t-shirt hangers off of Amazon. Brilliant.
Really?
Oh yeah, but I can't. What ends up happening now is we'll do the washing. Well, Alice will do the washing, and then I'll be like, right, I'm gonna get this pile of t-shirts. I'm gonna fold them all up, and they just stay in a pile, and then I just pick one out of it at a time.
Yeah. I've got a junk room full of. Me and Cookie have turned the studio into our laundry room at the moment.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, but the bedroom and where my clothes are that I wear every day.
Yeah, in order.
To be,
it
has to be.
Yeah.
Trainers are all lined up.
Yeah.
Just because that's how I've grown up. That's what I did in boarding school.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do in prison.
Yeah.
And that's just you just take that around with you. But yeah, your shop. Yeah, you've got a little bit of OCD. I've seen your.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's I'm the same. When I first started Skins Air, I was there 24/7.
Yeah.
And it was definitely my baby. And once I realised it was successful.
Yeah.
And it could,
you've got to have some sort of a life, haven't you?
Over to one person.
Yeah,
it had to be someone that was, going to treat it the same.
That's it. You definitely want. It's very.
You can't be there all the time.
No, and that's the thing. It's very, very difficult if people just want to see you. Do you know what I mean? Because it means you can't do a lot else, and especially if you're thinking, oh well, I don't want to miss a day of this, and don't want to miss. You want to be there all the time, but at the same time, you do get to that point where you're like, I just need a day to enjoy, do something else. Working or just?
Yeah, I mean, I see you every day.
Yeah.
Just because that's how our lives are at the moment.
Yeah.
I see you. I don't know why, but I can't live a day without going
to the
Butter Market. I've got to go to the Butter Market for something.
Like an average day. And
that's in the gym at night.
Yeah. So average day for me is we get up 7 o'clock. We take get up, shower, have my cold shower.
Yeah. Wim Hof.
Yeah, my Wim Hof cold shower. I've been doing that for about a month now.
That's quality.
It is, yeah. So I have my cold shower. I get up, we take the dogs for a walk. We've got 3 dogs. We've got Siberian Husky, Japanese Akita Inu.
Have you got an Akita, have you?
Yeah, so we got Japanese Akita Inu, which is he's called Hachi. I like the film.
Okay.
But he looks, he's not like a big one. The Inus are like, what are them little dogs called that were in the memes? What are they called?
I don't even know what a meme
George,
is.
you know what? A Shiba. Shiba. So a Japanese Akita is like a mix between a normal Akita and like a Shiba.
You've got the big thick neck still.
He's got a furry neck. He's got a skin condition, but he's not as furry as he should be. But yeah, so we got the Siberian Husky Jasper, who's nearly 1, who's descendant of Oscar. I don't know if you can see that up there, but he's same bloodline. And we got the Japanese Akita and a little pug called Missy. So we walk all 3 of them in the morning, and then I go off to work. I get there for 9, work 9 till 5, go straight to the gym, work and train. So the man hours at the gym are up until 8, so we stay there till 8 and train at the same time, and then go home, and then by the time we've gone home eating, very lucky Alice works from home, so she walks the dogs for the second time in the day, and we have a big garden and stuff like that anyway, and then go home and chill out.
Food prep like George does?
So I'm not a big, we do and we don't, I love food, so I was at my heaviest, I think I was maybe 19, 20 stone, just fat.
Yeah, I hit that.
And then I did when I really got into training and stuff like that, I got down to just under 13 stone. And I think now I'm about 16. And I'll be honest, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm happy with the way I look.
Yeah.
I carry fat around my stomach, but I feel like I look like a powerlifter.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Or I look like how I think a powerlifter would look, like a strong person. So do a bit of food prep. Yeah, we're doing this thing at the moment where what we do is we've got a bit of a meal, a dinner plan set out for each day, and then Alice makes enough so that I can take that food to work the next day for lunch.
Cool.
And then I have a lot of protein shakes and stuff like that. I'm not a big meat eater, so I get a lot of my protein through protein powders. And then the rest of it, I'm not big into prepping food. It's just more of the time. If I really wanted to do it, I could make time. You can make time for anything.
I just asking because I know George preps.
Yeah.
Religiously.
And George is in much better shape than me. So
it's a different training, isn't it?
It is. I just feel like you've got to weigh up the value of time. Do you know what I mean? And what that's worth to you vis the results you're going to get. And for me, I'm sort of I know if I wanted to get super jacked, I'd have to change my diet.
Yeah.
I know that, but I don't want that enough to go home and then spend an extra hour up prepping food. So for me, unless I'm cutting down for a competition, so I did a diet. It was 12 or 15 weeks with a lad called Josh Gold. And he's just someone I follow on Instagram. I think he's a really cool dude. So I said to him I wanted some what's the word called? To report to someone. What's that word called? I can't think what it's called now.
What are you going for, George?
Do you know what I'm on about? Where you have to.
I was reading that. I didn't.
Yeah, not credibility. Anyway, I wanted
credibility.
Not credibility, to be held accountable.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So I wanted to have someone to report to.
Okay, yeah.
So I did a dieting phase with him for I think it was 12 weeks. Yeah. Is it accountability? Yeah. And I did a dieting phase with him for 8 weeks. I lost about 8 kilos. 12 weeks, lost about 8 kilos. So I was at about 107, 108, and I come down to weighed in on the day at 99 point. So I can do it if I want to.
Yeah.
But I just like to eat what I want to eat.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I've got a sweet tooth as well.
Yeah, same.
And we were saying before, it's really bad mindset to have. But
where did the sweets go? I don't
know. Yeah.
Sweets.
It's a really bad mindset, but. If I see a packet of biscuits or, I say a pack of 10 Kit Kats, to me, that's one serving.
Yeah.
I think, and I get addicted to unwrapping the wrappers. So and then so yeah.
So we've done the competitive powerlifting.
Yeah.
Unit life, the unit gym. The unit
we'll talk about the gym.
Yeah, I mean, the gym to me, as I don't like...
It's quite a big deal for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
the gym and the atmosphere.
I literally in prison, locked up for 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they'd do you want to do the gym? And I'll still say fucking no.
Yeah, fair.
I'll stay on my bed and smoke a burn, back in the days when you could smoke in yourself. But yeah, I don't like the gym. I see these guys at it, and George, it's no secret to anyone now, I've just come off some crazy addictions, whatever you want to call it. I just finished the party, And George, for about a year, was saying, come to the gym, Dad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fucking go to the gym. I want to go home and get high.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but yeah, your gym...
it's a little bit different from...
I tried Halo and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I remember Found Hope. I've got tickets for it, but just... pretty boy pretentious gyms, I call them.
Yeah.
Where everyone sat on their phone. And, your gym is everyone that's there is there for a reason.
Yeah. I definitely think if you've like, I always say, we have a bit of a laugh and joke about it, but like everyone in that gym's a bit mentally, you know, they've got something going on.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? There's something going on, and you know, powerlifting's a lot like that. Like I think it's a good release for a lot of people. And I think there's definitely a lot of people out there who struggle with their mental health, but are strong enough to hide it and just sort of get on with their life. But yeah, definitely down that gym, it's definitely. I mean, I suppose I should go back really to how it started. So, me and one of my best mates, Joe Savica, we used to train at a gym. It was back then. It was called Pyramid. It's called Pyramid Fitness.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we used to train
Lindsay's gym.
Yeah, Lindsay's gym. Yeah, and we used to train down there, and we got into powerlifting and stuff like that. And then I remember we were really big into powerlifting, and I remember the opening times at Elite. Pyramid it was called then. No, it changed. Maybe it changed to Elite. I can't remember. Anyway, the opening times.
Pyramid when it was down past the fire station.
It changed to Elite Performance down there as well, and then it's moved since, and it's Elite Performance 2.0 now. And I remember the opening times were shocking through Christmas, right? Yeah. So by the time I had finished work, the gym would be closed, and we were just sort of like, we're not getting any training in. And the owner, he had this rickety old white power cage that he was selling, and me and Joe bought it off of him, and we put it in my mum's garage at home. And this garage is only just big enough to fit, not even really a car. You fold the wing mirrors in, you get it in. Anyway, and then I for the shop, I ended up, so we trained in there just on the days that the gym was closed. And then I ended up getting a little tiny industrial unit, which really isn't any much bigger than this room. So it's probably the equivalent size of 2 shipping containers together, right? And I used to keep stock in there for the shop. And eventually I got so much stock I needed a bigger one. But this unit was so cheap, I kept it. I kept this unit, right? I kept it, yeah. I kept this unit, and we were like, this unit costs us next to nothing. Like, should we just put some gym equipment in there? So we took this power cage and we put it in there, and then we got some other bits, and then we got one of our other friends involved, and then we started what was the original unit, which was just a unit.
Yeah.
And then it just came to be, I would just call it the unit, right?
Quality.
And then in the end, like, we got so much
George
kit
said
in
it was
there.
named after him.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is, yeah. So, and then we got so much kit down there, and like I say so much kit, but we had a combo rack, a power rack, and we had all these old plates and everything, and we were like, well, we don't really need to go anywhere else to train, like we can just train here. And then it sort of got around a little bit, and then there was 3 of us, and then there was 4 of us, and then there was 5 of us, and I think there was about 8 or 9 of us in total. And this little unit is great. We train whenever we want. We all had a key. Had some good sessions down there. We train. There'd be snow coming under the door. Some winters, freezing, Baltic cold. But you just get on with it. And it was really good. And then I sort of always had the idea of, I'd really like to have a gym. I think there isn't really. I think I can do a better job for what we want than what's available. Yeah. That's the way that I see it, right?
You've customised it for you.
Yeah, so I think there isn't really anywhere set up for powerlifting, and I think there's nowhere else I want to train. I'd rather train in this little unit. So maybe other people feel like that. Yeah. Maybe other people feel like there could be somewhere better.
You just before you go into that, the way you've described how it came, just a little unit, and you've took that with you.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what we wanted to do.
That simplicity.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Fuck all about powerlifting, and I don't want to know anything about it.
Yeah,
but your gym suits me every need.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've took exactly what you've just said. It's just a unit.
It is. It's just a unit, and actually, it was a unit that the definition of a unit is lots of things that come together to, and I think that's what we try and make it.
Yeah.
So then going forward a little bit, one of my best mates, Robbie, who owns part of the gym, he used to train in the unit, used to be one of the members, the original one, and then we sort of decided, look, should we go into business together? And then I had been going out with Alice for a little while, and then so me, Alice, and Robbie were like, let's make a good go of this. Yeah. Let's actually try and then that's where Alice comes in, really. So me and Alice are the majority shareholders, and so we own 75% of the business between the two of us, and then Robbie owns 25%. And there's something about owning a business with the three of you, especially this type of business. Everything that happens has to go through all three of us. Yeah. If we're getting a new member, it has to go through all three of us. So Alice is the one who really runs a gym. She does all the admin. She does all the new member stuff, all the advertising, all the Facebook stuff. Well, I don't really do any advertising, but all the Facebook stuff. So the gym is Alice. Yeah. People always like, Conor owns a unit, but I think it's just people know me from CNSports. Yeah. So the gym, yes, it's all the hard work really goes down to Alice. A lot of the actual fitting of the gym, so all the flooring, that's all Robbie. Yeah. It was just an idea that I had, and it wouldn't have happened without them two. And then so shout out to them too. So
the fact that it's successful is a shout out to them.
Yeah, it's incredible. So the gym, the idea was we're not interested. We've all got other jobs of ways of income. So we're going to start this gym, and it's going to be invite only. And what really invite only means is there might be certain individuals and certain types of people that we don't want down there, right? And it's a polite way of us saying we're full at the moment, but So
I had someone message me, mate, how did you get in?
How'd you get in?
3 times, and I was like, listen, I don't know.
How it works.
I like that.
So it's really, really easy. If you get referred by someone, you normally get in straight away. If you message and say, hey, I'm interested in the gym, can I join up? What we then get people to do is, if we don't know them, we say, well, you come down, you've got to do 5-day passes.
Yeah.
They do 5-day passes in manned hours when we're there. We see if they like the gym, and if the gym likes them, if they get on with the people, because it's really somewhere you need to get a bit involved, and you need to be, hey guys, and get in and I can have a spot and whatever. And then if they then join the gym, we take the 5-day passes payments off of their first month. Yeah. So it's not like we're trying to get them to pay extra. It's more of a like, not an initiation, but it's more of a.
I felt that I felt like it was.
Yeah. So like with your membership, for instance, it was easy because George was already a member. Then we know you. Yeah. So we're like, yeah, great. Like that's exactly. And actually, having people like yourself down there is ideal because it's not just a powerlifting gym. It's just that we cater for powerlifters.
Everyone thinks it is,
and that's it.
Everyone says, "What gym do you go to?" Because people are watching it on Instagram and they see what gym you going to, and it's. If you don't see the posts, it's and they always say, "Is it a powerlifting gym?"
So it doesn't help that on the logo it says Strongman and Powerlifting.
I say it's downstairs and it's just a gym.
Yeah, so I always think, see if you had upstairs, downstairs, and downstairs, upstairs, it would feel like a completely different environment. So downstairs is power cages and weights. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then upstairs more resembles an average gym. So it is. We've got 80 or 90 members. Everyone, so one of our things, everyone pays the same price, apart from the original, I think 8 people from the original unit, they pay £30. Yeah. Everyone else pays £40. So that was how the unit had come about. We just wanted somewhere to do powerlifting, and it's a successful business in terms of it makes a little bit of profit, so we put that into new kit. We have Donna who works there. Donna does, she does some of the admin. She goes down for a couple of hours every day, gives the place a tidy up, and she's really there during the day to create a little bit of atmosphere. So during the day it can be quite quiet. So we don't want people just down there feeling like they're on their own. So Donna goes down for a couple of hours during the day. Like some people do. Donna goes down. Donna's a chatterbox. She'll talk to anyone, and she's the loveliest person. So she goes down for a couple of hours and chats to people, has a little clean. To be honest, all the members are amazing. They clean and everything. And then the rest of it is pretty. It's enough to pay her. It's enough to pay our Saturday boy. And hopefully, in a couple of years' time, there might be a little bit of money that we can take out.
Yeah. And we've got 90 members.
80 or 90, I think. Yeah.
Cool.
So it covers.
I wish I had 90 people on my podcast.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. I mean, the thing is we've got 90 active or 80 active members.
Yeah.
So every single one of them trains.
Yeah.
We know every single one of them. If we haven't seen one, if I haven't seen you down there for a couple of days, say you've been going in the morning, I'm like, George, where's your dad?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because you're like, I haven't seen this person, and you get a bit worried then. Are they all right?
Yeah.
And you won't get that anywhere else. You won't get that at a big commercial gym.
I've been to the gyms with George. I've been on my own. I just don't like them. Yeah.
It's one of them things, isn't it? You get down there and it's like, oh, I'm going to go and see my mates. And it doesn't even matter if you're best mates or not. You're just like, oh, there's Pete or there's... And you just sort of get to know people. Yeah. And then before you know it, it's like, these people are your best friends. And you're sort of like, oh, wow,
Yeah, there's like a morning group and an evening group.
So we have like the 6 a.m. crew. And then the evening one. Yeah.
I mean, I've been down there and literally just been in and out on my own.
On your own,
Let myself in.
Yeah, so it's all keyless entry and
straight upstairs.
Yeah.
Do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And go and I've quite a few times I've been the only one in there.
Yeah, but that's what you get. Yeah, you do get that, and it's good because the people who want to be with other people know what times to go. It's first thing in the morning or in the evening, and the people who want to be on their own go on.
Yeah, if I meet anyone in the morning, it's Aaron, Josh, or George.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always the same people at the same time.
Yeah.
But your gym's been instrumental in.
I mean, you've made big changes down there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've never fully believed that I would suffer from a PTSD of any kind.
Yeah.
I've never really addressed mental trauma. I've always just dealt with it.
Suppressed it.
Yeah. And just, some of the things I've done, and I just, in my head, I just say that's not... It's only lately when people say, well, actually, that's not normal. And to what I deem is normal. So I'm just coming to terms with the fact that I've going through something mental, and the gym's been instrumental in it.
I think even the days that you don't want to go, you go, and you when you finish, it's a sense of achievement. You've done something. It's like going for a walk in the morning.
I very rarely want to go.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you go and you push yourself, and you're sort of like, I'm here now, right? Just get it done. No. And then afterwards, you're like, wow, I feel so much better. And it's that typical thing. It's it's releasing whatever chemicals it wants. It's releasing, and you come out feeling better. You feel good.
My initial reason for going was to link up with George.
Yeah, spend some time. Yeah,
I'm back in the shop now. I've just spent 3 years out of the studio.
Yeah,
being an absolute fucking nutcase. I can still see George's face as I walk in sometimes, thinking, I look alright, but actually, I look like I've been up 3 days. And I can look back and see George's face, and I started going to the gym because he wanted me to go, and it was a chance for me to bond.
For sure.
But now I go there now, without him.
Yeah.
Which wasn't, before, and I'll just train with my headphones on. And But the mental side of it has been, your gym's been.
Yeah.
Gym has been instrumental, but you've suffered in the past with mental illness.
Every
I don't even know what to call it.
Every day. So I was clinically diagnosed. I hate to say like anxiety and depression because it just seems like it's thrown around. But I was clinically diagnosed with that when I was 14 or 15. And then that was when I was taken out of school. So school was a big thing for me. I got diagnosed by a doctor called Dr. Malherbe, and it was is it Goal Street or Jail Street? It's the Jail Street, is that how you say it? Jail Street, but it's spelt Goal, isn't it? So Jail Street, and there's a little centre there, and I remember going and seeing him, and my mum was always really good. My mum's a bit of a softie, and my dad never really understood it. He always thought I was just trying to put it on. And it wasn't until he had spoke to Dr. Malherbe, and my dad's my best mate. He doesn't live in Hereford, he lives in Scotland, but and my mum and dad are brilliant. But my dad, it was a bit of a hard nut, and he didn't really understand it. And then I remember Dr. Malherbe had said to him, he's like, if you're petrified of tigers, if I put you in a tiger's cage, is that going to make you better? And my dad was like, well, no, obviously not. That's probably just make things worse.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, that tiger's cage is, the tiger's anxiety, and school is the cage. And that was what it was, I was getting... And again, there was a couple of teachers who were good. And I remember the head teacher, I can't remember his name, Mr. Lambert, was it like that? I remember I was really struggling to get to school, and a lot of the time my dad would drive me there, and I couldn't get out of the car.
Yeah.
And I remember one time my dad had gone into the office, and he had come around a different way and come to the car and said, "Come on, off." And I was the sort of kid then. Now I'd just say, "Go off," like not a chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But back then I couldn't say no. I was like, well, what happens if I can't say no? I've got to go because he's an adult. And I remember I was crying my eyes out, and he forced me to go into this session. And I remember thinking, God, that's looking back now, and I think that's a horrible thing to do. And I think that just made the situation worse. Because then I was frightened to go back. Yeah. And that, anxiety is a strange thing. But yeah, I've pretty much dealt with that my whole life. So then when I was diagnosed, and I sort of went through that, and I was put on medication. It was citalopram, citalopram back then, and amitriptyline, which is like a muscle relaxer, to go to bed. And then when I was probably 16, 17, I was a bum. I was bumming about, playing on my Xbox all day, and didn't have a job, and it's just my dad used to pay for whatever. And
it sounds like heaven.
Yeah, well, it was back then. Well, I had nothing to worry about. I didn't know the real world. And my mum and dad, they just wanted to do anything that would make me all right. And I was fine for a few years, and then my dad left. My dad left to go to Scotland, and I had to be an adult. Do you know what I mean? And then I went a few years with no medication. I was like, I don't need this anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't need this. Went a few years without medication, and then now, going back probably when Oscar, my dog, when he was in the process of dying, that had triggered something within me, and then I ended up going back to the doctors, and now I take sertraline. And I get prescribed diazepam for emergencies. And
what's the first one?
Sertraline.
What's that?
So sertraline is it's called an SSRI, which is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Okay. And the idea is that
happy pills.
Pretty much happy pills. So serotonin, which is the is a hormone or neurotransmitter that's involved with making you feel good and happy. So the idea is that people who suffer with anxiety and depression may metabolize that very quickly and get rid of it very quickly, which can make you very low. And a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor binds to the serotonin receptor site, and it essentially inhibits the reuptake of serotonin. So in very simple words, it allows it to...
you're a dyslexic nightmare.
Yeah. So basically, the happy feeling, it allows it to stay around for longer. So essentially, when people say, your anxiety, and that's a chemical imbalance. Well, it is to some extent. So I wouldn't say I'm pro-drug, and I'm not against drugs. But for me... if I go to a professional, my doctor, I'd see a guy called Dr. Stevenson at Cantaloupe Surgery, is brilliant, and I say to him, I'm not feeling good, and he suggests something to me, then I'll do that. And sertraline, and I think for me, sertraline's changed my life so that I can manage day to day.
Yeah. I don't like the I'm all or nothing when it comes to that. I've gone down the natural road. But because I could, fortunately, and I have been diagnosed in the past. Antidepressants. But for me, I don't know why. I don't like that.
A lot of people I speak to
is
don't.
Weird because I'm such a junkie my whole life.
A lot of people speak to and they don't want to become dependent on them.
For medical use.
Do you know what? And the amount of people I speak to, people, because I'm very open with how I feel, and I think from looking in on my life, if you were to look in at social media, Instagram and TikTok and that, you go, well, this kid's fine, like he's got no problems, he's got his own business, and I'm only 29. I know I look a lot older, but But that doesn't paint a true picture. There's nights, a couple of weeks ago, I'm lucky I don't suffer all the time, but if an anxiety attack for me, this is being brutally honest, an anxiety attack for me, it hits me out of nowhere, and it starts with me, this deep heat, right, hitting me and starting from the my toes up to my brain, and I normally look at Alice and I go, fuck, it's about to get real bad. And then the next thing is a cough, and then the next thing is a throw up, and the next thing is I can't think, and the next thing is I'm crying my eyes out, right? And I'm in the toilet, on the bathroom floor, throwing up literally to the point where it's just blood, like little bits, not like heaving up blood, but little bits of blood because I'm retching so hard. And you know, a couple of weeks ago, it got so bad that Alice drove me to my mum's, and I'm literally there saying to my mum, like, I just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm actually getting angry with my mum because I'm looking at her going, you should know how to fix this. You're my mum. And she's going, do I need to ring an ambulance? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
And that's probably the worst one I've had, actually.
And that was quite recent?
About 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, maybe about 6 weeks ago. And I'm literally there. And like I say, I can't even explain this feeling of you've been there yourself, this feeling of nothingness. I'm not happy, I'm not sad, I'm nothingness. And what makes it worse is I've got an amazing life. I think I've got a beautiful girlfriend, I've got an amazing family, friends, dogs, and I'm like, why don't I feel, good? And then like I say, I'm in this situation, I'm throwing out, I'm bawling my eyes out because I just don't know what to do. My body doesn't know what to do. Can you talk
yourself down from this or not?
So generally, I had a little tiny bit of a wobble yesterday, and I managed to use some of the techniques that I've learned over the years to bring myself down.
Yeah.
Generally, I will, if I feel something's going to be coming on, I'm smart enough to know I'll take 2 milligrams of diazepam, which I'm prescribed, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
And that is enough to level me out.
Yeah.
On that occasion, I knew something bad was coming that day, and I was like, I'll be okay, I can get through it.
Yeah.
And that was a bad idea.
Cool, yeah.
And the problem is I have
a bad idea. I mean,
it's test yourself, yeah. That's what I did last night, and there's a theory that I have, and I believe you get what's called a hangover, right? So I think...
I've got one now.
Yeah. But I think that when you've had a severe panic attack, anxiety attack, whatever you want to call it, right? That your body releases hormones and neurotransmitters and endorphins, whatever you want to call them, into your bloodstream. Now, the average life of a red blood cell is 2 to 3 months, right? So I think that these negativity chemicals that are going around your body that bring you right down, well, they hang around for a bit, right? So what I always find, see if I've had a really bad anxiety attack, for about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm not quite right. I'm just always on edge. And after that one, I remember it going, and I thought, right, I'll ring the doctor, and I rang the doctor, and then he gave me some advice. And then I remember the one day I was sitting in the gym, this was only a couple of weeks ago, and I said to Alice, I was like, I'm going to have to ring 111 because I don't know what to do. Like, I know that I'm feeling terrible. It's too late to go to the doctors, but I don't want to go to the hospital because my leg's not hanging off. Do you know what I mean? And I remember ringing 111, and they gave me the number for the mental health crisis line. And I don't know what it was, but just knowing that I had that option was enough to bring me down then.
I've just gone through that now. I mean, I've got an addictions counsellor that I've never met. I don't know her. I've only actually spoke to her once.
Yeah.
But she was texting me all through the physical withdrawals, which was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And just knowing she was there, and I'd never even met her.
Yeah.
I just knew she was a professional.
Yeah.
And I knew that she was only going to give me good advice. And as it happens, as luck would have it for me, after 48 years of abusing myself, I just decided this was enough. And this woman came onto the scene through someone else. And just as luck would have it, she was on holiday in LA. So our time zones were completely different. Yeah. So I'm up with insomnia.
But I was, you're up. She's up and awake. She's up and awake. Yeah,
in a different country.
Yeah.
And just knowing that.
Yeah, knowing that some help is there. And that was that same thing. So, I mean, I got this mental health crisis line number saved on my phone. And I think, and I don't know what it is. It's the same. It's like I say, for me, every time I have a bad episode or whatever, I try and look at ways that to better myself. So like I say, I'm listening to the Wim Hof book at the moment. I'm doing the cold showers. So for me, that's like a tool in my arsenal. The chimp paradox, I was big on that. Atomic habits, I was big on that. So I listen to all that. I'm a terrible reader. If you put a textbook about biology or something, I'll read it. I'll go through it and pick out the information I want. But you put a storybook in front of me, I wouldn't read it. I'll listen to.
I'm a documentary YouTube addict at the moment, but for certain things.
But mental health is a big part of my life, and it's something I'm very interested in.
I think it's a big part of it. I do not think you can be a human being and not have mental issues.
No, I don't.
We are fucking mental people. And everything all day, for me anyway, I mean, we are in our own heads all day, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And we,
it's overthinking,
every
isn't
time
it?
we look in the mirror, I mean, for me, do I look stoned? Do I look
yeah.
Do I look like I've been up all night?
I think everyone obviously has it to different degrees, but I think you relate to someone more when you speak to them and you go, the things that they're saying, they would only know if they've gone through it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That and it. Yeah, there is, because you go, well, you wouldn't know that.
I mean, there's some of my mates I wouldn't even bother talking to them.
Some people just don't get it.
I will end up punching them.
Yeah. Some people just don't. It's that thing of man up.
It's
man up. It's, you know,
I was that person.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, even to myself.
Yeah.
Because I could hear my dad saying it.
Yeah.
I could hear me saying it to him.
Yeah.
Man, the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you've just spent half your life telling your son to man up.
But that's it. Yeah, for sure.
And it's
we're lucky. Now it's a lot more. It's a lot more spoken about, and it's a lot more. Especially within men. Men, it's always
SAS
like,
heroes on telly talking about mental health.
Yeah.
I
mean,
for sure. You've got both ends of the scale.
Yeah.
You've still got the man ups.
Yeah.
But you've got people in heroes, TV actors, people that we think are fucking on it.
Oh yeah, and they're suffering. Yeah, for sure.
Fucking mentally fucked.
Yeah.
It's, whether it's self, abuse or
some form of
abuse or
PTSD, it could be anything.
Army stuff. It's I mean, we're living in an age where I just can't see that everyone must have something.
It's a stressful world we live in.
Whether you're willing to deal with your past, your future, or your present, 100%.
It's struggling somehow. And I think the biggest thing, if I was to give anyone advice, is talk about it. But in the beginning, it makes it worse because it's reality. Then you've opened up and you've accepted.
I'm trying not to cry.
Yeah, but when you talk about it, it's always worse because you're like, I've admitted to myself that this is a real thing. Sure. I'm not okay all the time, right? But then you start to speak to people and you go, wow, like this person's on the same level as me. Do you know what I mean? Like this person who I look up to and I think their life's great and I wish I was them, and they're struggling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Everyone is struggling.
Yeah. It is.
I've come to terms with that. Everyone's struggling, and it's just if you're gonna fix yourself, you're gonna have to fucking.
You have to admit it to yourself first.
Just get on with it. I mean, I've walked into your gym, headphones on, and not spoke to anyone, and that's just the way I wanted it. Everyone respect that.
Yeah.
That's what you.
And just do your own thing.
I think one night I just sat in the corner listening to music.
That's the thing, is sometimes it's just being around people, isn't it?
I mean, here on my own, this massive fucking house in the middle of the country.
In my. You just got to be out and
or 100%. Just come and sit in the gym and
absolutely, absolutely.
Listen to my music. And it was. I mean, it's so instrumental, your gym, in my recovery, and it must be a part of. I think if you're going to get through mental health, you're going to have to address your physical health.
There's a lot of people down there who are very open about how they feel and stuff like that, and it's a big, for me personally, like talking about it and sharing my experience with other people and thinking that by talking to people I'm helping them and they're helping me at the same time. That's a big thing for me.
There's not many gyms I'd be comfortable with like my girlfriend going to. Because at the moment, fucking guys are more horny than they've ever been. Women just aren't safe.
Yeah. Well, it's different at our gym because you're the biggest there. So everyone's sort of, like, don't mess with it.
There's just some respect at your gym.
Yeah, there is.
And there's no ridicule.
Everyone's handpicked, really.
That's, I've noticed that.
Yeah, everyone is handpicked, and everyone gets on. And
if you want to just sit on your phone and look at yourself, go.
We would never, we would never say no to someone without a reason to say no to. But it's, you don't want one bad apple upsetting the apple. And we'd always give people a chance.
That's it. I mean, we're the same with tattooers. I mean, you could have a tattooist with a massive ego.
Yeah.
It's gonna fuck the whole shop up.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that. So it sounds a bit harsh, but
it's not
that's
harsh,
just how it is.
We own our own business.
Yeah, that's how it is.
We've worked hard and we get to fucking choose.
100%. Yeah.
We both come from the street.
Yeah.
And we haven't had anything handed to us.
And
that's the way I see things.
100%.
However I feel fit to run it is it's choice, isn't it?
100%.
I definitely felt that I had been I'm not going to say background. I definitely felt that, you know, it wasn't just, can I come to your gym? Yeah. It was, can I come to your gym? Wait.
Yeah, and see what happens. Yeah.
And just
and
see.
Then you
and
figure
then
out.
I was quite aware that you knew about my situation. I was
quite
aware that I probably got sneaked in and a little bit on the back. Because I've had this guy message me and he said to me, like, how'd
you get in?
mate?
Yeah.
And I was like, look, mate, I'm a recovering addict, and I think they've took me under their wing.
Yeah. Like I think like there's, you know, if there's an opportunity where you can help someone,
yeah,
and you think, you know, I think there's a couple of lads down the gym, they've messed us around a million times, and I know they struggle, and you know, and we always let them back.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be the same because I know what it does for them.
Eventually, it won't be the same.
It's that sort of thing.
Eventually, it will click.
Yeah.
Some people, it takes fucking.
Yeah, and it's all and it's, you know,
years.
That, you know, they do it, but they go off and then they cancel their thing and they come back. But we know what it means to them, so we always say, you know, you're always welcome back.
It's their safety net.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, but I know what you really want to speak about in this podcast, which is. The juice. You want to speak about the juice?
Let's talk about the other illegal drugs.
I
mean, to me, they've always been. I mean, in the media, it's like, oh, so and so's had this medal taken off them, and so and so's been disgraced, and back in Tour de France, and you know, it's demonized. It's not for me.
Sure.
I don't give a fuck. As long as I'm not fat, that's all I really care about.
Yeah,
I'm not really looking for massive definition. But
And there's a big misconception. So anabolic steroids.
Do you take steroids?
Absolutely, yes, I do.
I said to Aaron the other day, mate, I watched you lift that weight. What the fuck do you eat? And he said, steroids.
Yeah. So there's definitely a big misconception with steroids. So steroids they're legal to take. So if I have a bottle of steroids or whatever you want to call it, and I take them and I inject them, I can legally do that. Okay?
You inject, do you?
Inject, yeah. So I don't really take.
They're already not for me.
Don't really take tablets. But yeah. So I could do that, and you're like, what you're not allowed to do is sell them. So it's that bit of a thing, whereas you're obviously getting them from somewhere, but you can't sell them, right?
It's like the weed industry. You can buy seeds, you can buy a bowl, you can buy a
there you go. Yeah, there you go. So you can do it, but you can't do it. So I have been taking. So I'm 29. I've been taking anabolic steroids since I was 19. Right?
Do they make your penis small?
No, but they make your balls smaller, which makes your penis look bigger.
That's better.
So there you go. Do you know what I mean? No.
Balls?
So for some people they get really, you know, I think it's called atrophy, where their testicles get really tiny. I don't really have that problem, I'll be honest. But if I go right back, you know, when I was 18, 19, I was big into bodybuilding. That's what I wanted to do, and I was all right fatty. And I thought that steroids would change my life. I was like, if I go on steroids, I'm going to be massive.
You
and I'm
can
going
sit at home, eat chocolate, play on your station,
absolutely.
and look like Arnie.
And do you know how disappointing it is when you do this first injection of steroids and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I'm not massive. Do you know what I mean? And
I'm still fat.
Yeah, I'm still fat. Yeah, Anyway, so it was very young, and then I went on anabolics.
God, I'm so glad we're talking about something happy.
And I went on anabolics, and I tell you what, when if I could go back, I would never ever do them.
Really?
100%, and that's easy for me to say.
I'd never have a tattoo.
Yeah, so that's easy for me to say because obviously I take steroids, so I could. I would never do, but. First of all, they're not going to do what there's a 1% people, there's this tiny minority of people who are like hyper responsive to them, and they take them and they get massive.
Yeah.
But the rest of the people don't, right?
Yeah.
The rest of us don't get massive. I don't look like I take gear. It just happens that I'm quite strong.
Yeah.
But there's people down our gym who are completely natural, never touched a drug in their life, and they're as strong as me.
George Masters.
Right? Yeah, George. There you go. Right. So I got into it, and the reason that I'm still on them is because I was on anabolic steroids, and at one point I stopped taking anabolic steroids, and I went like this, right?
Are they good for your sex life? In any way?
Not.
Nothing.
Some people.
I'm just asking because I think that I don't know.
So you imagine you've done this cycle of anabolic steroids. It's time to come off your cycle. And then what happens is you're injecting exogenous testosterone. Your body does not know the difference between a natural hormone and a synthetic hormone. It just knows it as the chemical's the same, right?
Cool.
So you're injecting a exogenous synthetic form of testosterone into your body. Your body then shuts down what is called your HPTA, right, which is hypothalamus pituitary testicular axis, and this is your natural testosterone production. But because your body works on a negative feedback loop, which is it has androgen receptor sites all over it, and it can tell when you've got enough testosterone and when to reduce the amount, whatever. Because you're injecting vast amounts, your body no longer produces it.
Yeah.
So your natural testosterone production ceases, zero, right? You don't produce anything. So then what happens is you want to come off this anabolic cycle. Well, then you take what's called PCT, right? Post-cycle therapy. And PCT consists of a couple of drugs. Some people take some people take others, some people take all of them. And the idea is that kickstarts your this HPTA. And the way that it does it, this is all to do with signaling messengers. You get luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone and gonadotropin and releasing hormone, and all these are signaling pathways to say, right, do this and release this and release this. And you're essentially, the idea is that you're taking these drugs that are gonna mimic these and kickstart this production of testosterone. But that doesn't always go to plan. So you imagine then you've come off synthetic testosterone, and now your testosterone's gone from 200 nanomoles per litre, right? Or plus, even more, maybe 200 nanomoles per litre. The natural limit is between around 10 and 30, and now you're at 4.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so now you've gone from up here, and now you're down here, right? And
your body's not producing anything.
Your body's producing next to nothing,
yeah.
Right? And the feeling of that is no motivation, depression.
I was going to say, does this fuck with your mental health?
Massively, and that's why I'm still on it now. Because my testosterone was low anyway, but then when I re-blood tested following a PCT after my first cycle, my testosterone was coming back at like 5 nanomoles per litre. And I'm like, fucking, I've already struggled with mental health. Why the fuck did I ever go on gear, right? And I'm thinking, already stuck with mental health, I can't carry on like this. So my option was to go back on gear. And I'm so petrified of coming off to feel like that again now. And now I'm much more advanced in what I know about it. Now I do what is called TRT, self-prescribed. So TRT is testosterone replacement therapy. Or
I'm dyslexic, right?
Okay, so the idea between testosterone replacement therapy is basically you will take an exogenous source of testosterone and inject it into your body to mimic a natural level of testosterone. Okay, so the natural levels are, like I said, 10 to 30. I try and get to 29 naturally. Okay, not many people are that high naturally. I've never seen anyone's blood work that is that high naturally. I look at a lot of blood work and I see 12s, 13s, 14s. One of the guys down the gym, he came in, had his blood done. He came in and was chatting to me, and he said, "I'm not feeling very good," and this, that, and the other. And I said, "You're in your late 50s. It sounds like you might have low testosterone." Anyway, takes my advice, goes gets blood tests, brings the results in. I look, his testosterone is at 18 nanomoles per litre. It's one of the highest I've seen, right? Naturally, and I'm like, anyway, I'd look, and he's pre-diabetic and this, and I go, "What's your diet like?" And I said, "Do you eat any of this?" I listed this. He had high triglycerides. I listed these foods off to him, and he goes, "You've just said my diet." And I said, "Well, do you think that could be the problem why you're not feeling very good?" So this, the natural testosterone reduction can be,
diet is paramount to the way we
absolutely.
feel.
But you can. What I'm saying is, you can have 20-year-olds who have 10 nanomoles per litre, and then you can have 55-year-olds who have 18. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? So the range is quite vast. But the idea is that you would mimic natural testosterone production into, I take 3 injections a week, and I get my blood results done, and I check my organ functions, my
there's like problems with liver problems.
So with anything, right? If you drink too much alcohol, inevitably you're going to get problems. Yeah. Same with anything, right? Yeah. So it's the same. I believe they can be done naturally. They can be done very safely. all of it's really made underground now. So it's underground.
You said something
labs.
earlier about when you go to competitions, there are people that are on gear and people that aren't.
Yeah, so it's split.
So they accept people that are
absolutely. So the BPU, the British Powerlifting Union, it's fantastic. They don't discriminate. Yeah, some places do, some places they don't.
Right.
So British Powerlifting Union have a untested division, which is called the British Powerlifting Union, and a tested position, which is the amateur British Powerlifting Union. So ABPU and BPU, you all compete on the same day, apart from the World Championships, and the only difference is you have a card that says ABPU, you have a card that says BPU. There's no discrimination against it because it's not illegal.
Yeah, and I thought they were illegal.
Do you know what the best thing about it is? Is it reduces cheating, because why cheat if you can compete against all the same people on the same day? Yeah. The only difference is you have a different card.
So at these powerlifting competitions, do they test people?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so you get like a piss test?
On the ABPU, but not the BPU because it's untested. Right, so the assumption is if you're in the BPU, take drugs.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like I say, it's quite an interesting one. But yeah, for me personally, I would go back in time, and there's been times where I've thought, am I like this because I've been taking this? Am I like this because I've taken this? And actually, that's why my doctor was very good. You
must be, ultimately, it must be responsible for something.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I've been the way that I've been my whole life. My mum and my dad can, when I was diagnosed, go, yeah, well, that makes sense. Like, why I was so, why I was doing these things as a kid. Like, didn't ever want to stay at anyone's house, or, didn't want to go to school trips or anything like that. I was always really nervous about it. And but yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, there's a lot of misconceptions with drugs, with anabolic steroids. But then a lot of the misconceptions maybe aren't misconceptions, are more misuse, are effects of misuse of anabolic steroids. So if you take the right dosage, and this is prescribed. If you go to the doctor now and you say, man, I'm feeling quite rubbish and I'm not motivated, and he goes, right, we'll do some blood tests. Your testosterone comes back less than 10. You go out there with testosterone injection, they'll give you something called Nebido. Yeah. You go back every 12 weeks, they put an injection in your glute, in your ass, and you go back and off you go. Whereas the difference is that, I do it now for performance. Like, I'm never going to be not drug free. I couldn't come off steroids and then in 2 years' time go and compete drug free. I've had the benefits of them. Now for me, coming around to competitions, I'll increase the dosage. Even it's still a small amount in comparison to what some people take. But I just accept that I'll take it for the rest of my life. Okay. Yeah. It's just one of them things. Really, it doesn't really bother me.
I always think that people that take steroids are going to be like
massive.
Cut.
Yeah. If I was to train in that style and diet in that style, but like the reality of it is
they give you strength.
Yeah, well, so this is where I'm going with it. The reality of it is, we've got you both know Adam, Shouty Adam, we call him, down at the gym. Adam's 20 years old, right? It's 9 years younger than me, powerlifting less time than me, natural. Guy with the glasses, right? Natural. Never touched a drug in his life, and I can tell you that gospel. Never touched a drug in his life. Not got a particularly good diet. Hard-working kids, a welder, fabricator, and he's within my weight category. There's a little bit of weight difference, but next to nothing. He's as strong as I am. I've only got him by a couple of kilos. Yeah. And he's actually out squatted me raw recently. I've out deadlifted him by maybe 10 kilos, and our bench is the same. And this kid's got less experience, takes no drugs, has an equally bad diet, works a very intensive job. Yeah. And still outlifts me. If I could go back and tell myself that, I'd be like, fuck, why don't I just stay natural? And I could have actually been good in the natural categories.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've heard George talking about it, and he's like, I don't think George will ever touch.
For someone like George, it's pointless because aesthetically he's in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
And unless he was going to go and be like, I want to be the world champion powerlifter, that's different. Or the reality is at very high levels of sport where it's your job and it's coming down percentages, the likelihood is they're taking some sort of hormones. Yeah. So it that's just a reality of it. Some of this stuff probably isn't humanly possible without we're talking about drugs which which turn off your body's ability to try and keep your body at a certain size and a certain weight and a certain amount of muscle mass for survival purposes. So then you're introducing drugs into it which turn that off and allow you to get so big and so strong that you can't wipe your own ass. You can't fit in a doorway. Do you know what I mean? That's what some of these guys are. It's physically,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there is obviously genetics and stuff that come into it. But yeah, like
George has got good genetics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, handsome guy, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I would say the best advice, if someone's going to ask me about it, the thing that I can tell them, and everyone hates to hear it, it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. 100%. Because you think the difference between me and the best in the world is anabolic steroids. It's not. It's
I
really,
would say
really
to
not.
someone now, like, don't have a tattoo.
Absolutely. Like, and it's easy to say that because you've got tattoos. It's easy to say it because you go, oh yeah, well, don't have a tattoo. It's like, yeah, but you've got some. That
should be why you take the advice, because
you've got them. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the experience.
But everyone thinks, well, I'm different.
It's just,
my tattoo. I
love it now.
tattoo.
When I meet someone that hasn't got a tattoo, I'm impressed.
Yeah, don't have.
I love it. It sounds like it's the same.
Very similar. Yeah, I mean, like I say, you are obviously the benefits aren't gonna, for the majority of people, aren't gonna, unless you are already extremely successful at what you do.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to take it to the next level.
Cool. How are we doing?
We've gone way over, I reckon.
Pretty much.
No.
Not way over. All right, one more question. I'm so glad we've touched on everything.
We managed to get through
everything.
everything.
Literally holding back the tears.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But yeah. Do you really watch Alien every fucking night?
I don't know if you can see that, I've got a big Alien tattoo on my arm there. Real good tattoo studio, actually. Got big Alien on there. Yeah.
He's on the table for a reason.
So Aliens. So it's Aliens, which is the second one. So that's the Queen from Aliens. The Queen from Aliens. And there's a specific bit on the movie where they're in the compound, and they've set up the machine gun turrets. These automatic. They're like, there's aliens in here. We've set up these machine gun turrets. We've blocked all the walls. They've got 300 rounds in them or whatever. And you see, as soon as them rounds start firing, I'm out of it then. So that's a true thing. Most of the time it's Alien. Maybe sometimes Tremors. Bit of Kevin Bacon. But that is true. Yeah.
Quality. Okay, we're good then. Yeah, we're done.
Good.
Podcast 3 is a wrap. Mate,
done.
Thanks for coming in.
Cheers, Pete. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for letting me be a member of your gym.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It has been instrumental in my recovery. It's the first time I've nearly cried while doing this, but thanks for coming in.
No dramas, dude.
Quality. Turn it off, man.
Wrapped.